Oh. Or not.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Does it just let
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What? Wait, I won. You told me that I won, and then I won.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk.
I don't remember the numbers.
What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
This is kind of calming.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Or do I do this? It says escape. Maybe it's another happy ending?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I don't believe you.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
It said escape.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
It said escape. Signs don't lie. Oh. Oh dear. Did that not hurt?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Oh dear.
Farewell, Stanley.
I made a mistake. Oh.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
I'm free. I'm safe. The Stanley Parable, that's me.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
Oh.
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Are you talking shit about the narrator? We've got competing narrators now.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
That's
Do you
depressing.
see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
The blueprint shows the office at the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development. Through the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. That's my office. The set of two doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. This is just a museum of the game itself within the game? More endings, fewer endings, more narrators, fewer narrators, more Stanley, less Stanley. After the second trailer, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these in further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection. Final warning. There is a skeleton inside of you. There are more skeletons in this world than humans. Is that true? Am I still playing the game, or is this like a... What is going on?
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
I'm definitely still playing the game, I think. Oh, I have to turn it off.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Who, me and the narrator?
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
Do I do it?
Don't let...